Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. I'm sure people will be hopping on here since it's just now 7 o'clock, but want to make sure that you get all the time that you can with your college. So welcome. My name is Megan Russell. I'm a representative from West Virginia ACRAO. I'm happy that you are able to be with us this evening to hear about Radford University. This program is our virtual college exploration for all West Virginia students, and it is sponsored by the West Virginia Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers and StriveScan. There is a Q&A button to type your questions to the presenters at any time. Your camera and your microphone are off, so you will be muted, and your video is off. The panelists cannot see or hear you. There are plenty of sessions being offered over the next 3 weeks, and this is just one of many of those. If you want to check out the full schedule, that is at WVACRAO.org. Also, this recording will be available in about 1 week's time, as well as all of the other sessions that are being recorded. And those too will be available at WVACRAO.org. And I will go ahead and turn it over to your presenters.
All right, welcome. My name is Charles Salyers. I am an assistant director at Radford University, and I'm really excited to be here today, mainly to talk about Radford University, where we're located, where we've been, where we're headed, and just really about the Radford family. We have a nice community and family environment that you'll find on campus and our local area, and so I'm excited to share with you about that today. If you would like, please feel free to utilize the Q&A section throughout the entire presentation. I actually have a coworker in the chat behind the scenes to help keep those questions answered. But also, I might want to know some information about you, and we can tailor this conversation today in a direction that interests our viewers the most. So if you are watching, free to go ahead and drop in the chat any majors, minors, programs, or things that you may be interested in, as I welcome you to the awesome opportunities we have available at Radford University. So great aerial view. If you were to get off the interstate and fly into Radford, this would be the view. But that building right there at the front is our wonderful Davis College of Business and Economics. It's our first piece of campus that greets you, but in the distance there, you'll see the Blue Ridge Mountains, and right over there behind that large tower is the New River. So if you're from West Virginia, most likely you've stuck your toes in the New River as it does flow south to north, and we are along its trail. All right, I'm gonna start out with a nice little video for you all.
Hey, Charles, you're muted.
Welcome to 2020 and the world of, oops, I'm still muted. As I mentioned earlier, my name is Charles Salyers, and here's my contact slide. This is probably my most important slide to throw at you all today. Screenshot it, save it to your phone. If you have any questions, these are all the many ways that you can connect with me. And I love connecting students with campus. And so this is a great place to start. Maybe you don't want to open up conversation, and give me a follow on Facebook or Instagram, and you can start seeing what it's all about to be a part of the Radford family. I am a Highlander myself. I graduated from Radford University, so I have a lot of pride for Radford. But we're coming to you virtually today, and unfortunately, it's not my favorite choice to meet with people virtually, because we're all about being in front of students where they're at. So typically, this type of environment would be on the college tour throughout West Virginia. And so it's not just a job for me. I enjoy it on many levels. And it's not just the mountains that I'm recruiting, but the people within those mountains. And so typically, if you were to see me at a fair, you're catching me after going hiking between fairs, or you're catching me right before I go catch a sunset somewhere. But I really do enjoy recruiting my territory and doing a lot of history. Actually, at Radford, we have a minor in Appalachian Studies. So there's a lot of very informative Appalachian history and great places to stop along my travels when recruiting students. And so I definitely wanted to share that with you all, because I've been in your neck of the woods, and I am a big fan of your neck of the woods. But let's talk about main campus. Let's talk about Radford University. It is fall, and fall foliage is at its peak. I had a few friends that just went up to Blackwater Falls in West Virginia a few weekends ago. They were a little early for that peak, but if you all enjoyed that view of the fall foliage, you'll definitely find it on campus. One of my favorite things about campus is our green spaces, the trees, the open lawn, the opportunities to throw a picnic blanket out there, study with your friends, find a bench, and the more trees that we continue to find and thrive on this campus, the more hammocks that go up. I always tell students, if you have a hammock, make sure you pack that when coming to Radford. It's a popular thing for our students. When you are coming to Radford, definitely if you're in the state of West Virginia, I always like to point out Interstate 77. Interstate 77 takes you right to Beckley, right down to Bluefield and Princeton. From Bluefield and Princeton, we're about 45 minutes to an hour away from there. So you can kind of see where you fit in the destination of going to college, if Radford's for you. Southwestern Virginia is our location. We are definitely on the edge of Appalachia, so our location has a nice rural feel with the surrounding areas, but we have a nice larger university, Virginia Tech, that's about 20 minutes away, and Roanoke, Virginia, that's about 45 minutes away, that definitely give us access to the greater state of Virginia, and some nice chains and a variety of options for students when they choose to leave campus. We're a Goldilocks school. We're a mid-sized institution at Radford, not too big, not too small. Kind of my favorite thing to say about Radford is the Goldilocks story. Most students that I recruit get to campus, and when they find their fit, they find their fit. And we have a lot of options for students on campus. We've been around for over 100 years. So when we opened our doors, it was education and leadership. And so those types of principles have continued to grow within this institution as we've grown. And so being involved and really getting more involved than you plan is something that Radford really works with students to achieve. We are a little bit higher on the female side. We did start as an all-female institution, but you'll find that most colleges and universities a little bit of a higher percentage, but the percentage that we really like to brag about is our 32% first generation. We do have a lot of students that come to Radford, and they are the first one in their family to go to a college or university. The transition is easy working with counselors such as myself, but we have a lot of resources on campus, options within financial aid, the admissions resources for students to find success transferring from high school to college, and then transferring from freshman to senior, and making sure that our students who this may be their first time have access to the resources to make it the best first time that they can. We have over 100 academic programs at Radford. We have 6 undergraduate colleges, and that might be like, oh no, it's getting bigger, it's getting too big for me. Your average class size is going to be right around 30. As a freshman, you'll definitely find a few larger classes on campus in the 50s and 60s. But as you get into your upper level classes and into your major classes, you're going to see those classes shrink up. Fewer than 3% of our classes are taught by a graduate student at Radford, because we do have graduate programs, but that just means that you get to take an introductory level course with a professor who most likely has a terminal degree. And what we love to talk about at Radford is experience-based within their profession. So in the classroom, not only are they teaching out of the book, but they're teaching from their own experiences, which is really valuable. And then that connection with faculty goes even deeper throughout your time at Radford. We have an overall 16-to-1 student faculty ratio. So when you're thinking about opportunities, those opportunities are starting with the networking that you're going to do here at Radford. The easy accessibility of our professors and faculty make it super smooth for you to knock on the door, for you to build that relationship, to start day one as more than a number at Radford University. When I was a student, I ended up picking up a second major and a minor because a professor was reading my papers and took what they were taking from the papers and said, hey, I have a research class I'm teaching next semester. You may be interested in it. And I was interested in it, and it was right up my alley. And I ended up spending a little bit of extra time and effort to complete that. But that was something that the faculty brought to me. And I ended up going to 3 different conferences because of that, and getting involved, and just one thing after another came of that. When we're thinking about our programs, I don't think... I'm having trouble. Oh, that was my Siri talking to me. When you're thinking about our 6 undergraduate colleges, we have our College of Science and Technology, students that are thinking about pre-professional programs, bridging yourself to go to med school or a graduate or PhD program in the sciences. We have environmental biology at Radford, greenhouse on campus, some pretty cool things. Within that, the technology side, cybersecurity, big growing field, and Radford is right there alongside that in our program. It is one of our most popular programs within our College of Science and Technology. Our College of Education and Human Development, bread and butter. We've been producing teachers the longest, but this also, early childhood special education opportunities for students, as well as secondary and middle school education. We do have fast tracks, so all of our licensures are awarded to students at their undergraduate level, but our teaching licensure gives us the ability for some students to tack on the master's program in about half the time. So pretty great. We're all about saving a dime here at Radford University, and so some of our graduate programs offer bridges and a fast track, so students can kind of shave off that time and not pay as much in the end for all their education. Our College of Humanities and Behavioral Sciences, this is psychology, criminal justice, political science opportunities. We have one really cool media studies program here at Radford that has some really nice facilities that they get to utilize, nicer than some of the local news stations, I've been told. And so that's pretty great that our students have access to even more hands-on. As our buildings are renovated and new buildings go up at Radford, we just released or reopened the Center for the Sciences after a renovation this past year. We're just getting more lab space, more interactive learning spaces at Radford. So students are just getting well polished, hands-on in their future field and career interests. We have our College of Visual and Performing Arts, theater, dance, music. We do have we are in the top 10 most desirable design universities in the U.S. And so that's a small, unique program. I know that there are music programs that are lacking in the state of West Virginia, so we do offer a common market. So a lot of times students in dance will seek out Radford University through the academic common market. So if that's something you're interested in, we can talk about that academic common market opportunity. Our Davis College of Business and Economics, that's one of the colleges that I graduated from here at Radford. Management marketing, we do have a really strong MBA, so we have the fast track in that. Students start as pre-business and then they fall within their major and declare that later on, so you can really follow your strengths. Within that program, it's an AACSB accredited school, so we're in the top 5% business schools in the world. Waldron College of Health and Human Services. Healthcare is huge. Teaching, education, and leadership, that's something that is our bread and butter. And I would say that we're now carving our niche out in Southwest Virginia and the state of Virginia as a whole within healthcare, especially our School of Nursing, located here in the Waldron College of Health and Human Services. The last 7 years, we've had the highest pass rate for the nursing on the nursing board. And our nursing students, I love to go to a pinning ceremony because they walk across that stage and more than half of them already have jobs, which is pretty great to say, I'm graduating and I'm already employed. The rest of this college has a school for social work as well as communication sciences and disorders. So students that are thinking about speech pathology or audiology. Our Center for Major Exploration, so if you have a million things on your interest list, or if you're just wanting to make sure that you fall into the right place, our Center for Major Exploration works with students to declare their major at the end of their freshman year. So you work on the core curriculum, you take a few of those intro level classes with our awesome faculty, have some of those conversations, network your way into a program, see what you enjoy, and kind of follow your strengths, skills, and your passions throughout that. And so it's pretty great to not have that pigeon-held feeling when you get to college. When I came to Radford, I was a pre-nursing major. We're not Zooming in a hospital tonight. And so that resource is something that I love to see on campus, as students can make sure that they're taking their core curriculum, staying on a 4-year time frame or shorter depending on dual enrollment credits, but also making sure that they have the whole campus at their fingertips and they really fall into the right program. This is a nice exhaustive list of all of our majors and minors and programs. And so this is another thing that if you're interested in Radford, this is a great thing to screenshot. If you're all, if you're not actually on 1 or 2 programs and you're kind of looking at a lot of things, but you can see some of the unique programs that we do have on our campus. We do have anthropological sciences, archaeology, and general anthropology are underneath that. We do have some pretty cool minors in foreign languages that students can get involved in. Geology, geospatial sciences. We do have military sciences here, so ROTC for the Army is an option at Radford University. I mentioned earlier criminal justice. Within the science side, we have forensic sciences, so students that are interested in the criminal justice system, but more the research and science side. We actually have a forensic institute on campus, which is pretty awesome. They bring real cases to campus. We actually have some world-renowned anthropologists here on our campus, and so they actually have a space dedicated to cases that they are past, and students get to stand behind them and kind of be incorporated in that process. Sociology, sports management, some cool recreation, parks, and tourism. It's actually one of our smaller programs. They're a part of the College of Education and Human Development. Our human development side of that college is very big on athletic training, occupational therapy, and physical therapy. But their small program for tourism and recreation works for people who are interested in recreation therapy or students who are looking to work in national parks, work as game wardens, things like that. They have a lot of flexibility. And so I actually recruited a student from Lee County all the way at the tip of Southwest Virginia last year who is wanting to go as big as she can in 4-H, and they are giving her access to a lot of resources within that. Now, I wanted to mention our second campus. We have Radford University Carillion. It's located in Roanoke, which I mentioned earlier is that kind of bigger city that's about 45 minutes away from campus. This is a healthcare only facility. So students that are interested in healthcare, we have some programs that you'll find on main campus as well as RUC. But this campus is going to be for students that want to walk into their first classroom that's actually in an old hospital that's been converted to educational purposes. In the technology and healthcare corridor in the city of Roanoke, there are actually levels that still see patients. When I went to tour there for the first time, they warned us of the elevators that don't go on these, you'll end up with the patients, not within the classrooms. And so you are immersed in that healthcare environment from day one. Main campus, we have 300 plus clubs and organizations, Division I sports, a lot of that. You move to RUC, there's housing, there's a meal plan, but you're going to be very streamlined. Their clubs and organizations are associated with healthcare, and everything on that campus is going to be giving students access to finding a career within healthcare. They do have a 100% placement after graduation within their programs, which is very nice. It has helped us grow our School of Nursing. You can actually check out here a nice little short list of what it looks like. Some of the programs that we have available. Our surgical technology program there is pretty cool for students that are looking for that associate. But then we also have our Bachelor of Science in Emergency Services. When I got for that campus, it was really cool. It's the back end of an emergency vehicle, and there's cameras and sensors and everything, so they actually can play real scenes in emergency services. There's only like 13 Bachelor Emergency Services programs in the U.S., and so we're one of those, which is pretty cool. We do have nursing, some nice master's and doctoral programs that filter into the healthcare spectrum as well, available there. But I'll just pop back to this slide one more time. If this is something you're interested in, we are going to have a WVACRAO presentation on the 22nd at 5 p.m., the Radford University Carillion, all about Radford University Carillion. So mark your calendar for that. Now, back to main campus. I showed you a nice fall picture of the fountain earlier. This is probably my favorite picture out of them all of the fountain. The fountain is a central place on campus when you come to visit or you check it out. It's a place where you can relax or take a picture. On graduation, the months leading up to graduation is sometimes a line waiting because it is that much of an iconic spot on our campus. We do have a nice sized campus, though. You get from one side to the other side in about 15 minutes. There's no roads that go through campus, so if you run into traffic, you're no longer on Radford campus. So we do have a nice close-knit campus size, but it's our academic programs, our resources, some of those options that make us feel a lot larger than our actual size. We have a Center for Accessibility Services, keeping you at 100%. When you come to Radford, we have a Center for Career and Talent Development. So they start working with students as freshmen all the way up into graduation. They've had a lot of efforts recently in continuing to put students in front of employers, even in this pandemic. So they're hosting virtual career and job fairs for our students and getting students involved. 83% of our 2019 graduating class had jobs in their major field within 6 months of graduation. And that journey starts from day one. It doesn't have to start senior year when it's like, oh, I have to have a job when I graduate. They are very active throughout freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year. We have our Center for Diversity and Inclusion. Back in 2015, we actually topped off as the most diverse state school in the state of Virginia. We backed down a little bit on that, but we really are focused on the individual. The student-centered approach is something that our president is very supportive of, and it filters throughout all of our faculty and staff as well as students themselves, and making sure that we put the student and their needs and what is going to get them to the finish line first. And so the Center for Diversity and Inclusion brings a lot of programming to campus. A lot of our minority groups and students get access to have a louder voice, to educate through different ways, different rallies, different events that we have on campus, and making our campus as inclusive as possible. Our Harvey Knowledge Center, free tutoring. That's always great to know that if you're going to go to a college campus, you're going to have access if any roadblocks fly up. I always like to point out, though, that 16-to-1 student-faculty ratio, you're going to be able to knock on your professor's door and open up that conversation. But if you're a prideful freshman like I was, it's a lot easier to go to someone you don't know to ask for help than someone that you look up to. They have an awesome oral and writing resource center as well. Take your papers, get them polished. If you're making straight B's, get them to A's. If you're wanting to be able to stand in front of a group of people and give a presentation that people are going to walk away and remember and be an effective speaker, go there and let them help you strengthen those skills. Really great center. We do, like I said earlier, we're very prideful at Radford. So in the classroom, most definitely, but outside the classroom and recreationally, we have 16 Division I athletic sport teams that we have here at Radford. We are the Highlanders, and so you can definitely be a part of that and involved. We do participate in the Big South Conference every year. 300 plus clubs and organizations. If that exhaustive list doesn't have what you're interested in on it, it's you, 4 other people, and a faculty member can make it happen on campus. We have Glassblowing Club. One of our really active clubs is our Dungeons and Dragons Club. And I mean, as a faculty member, I want to join that. But there's clubs and organizations that are associated with majors and programs, honor clubs and organizations. We have fraternity and sorority life here at Radford. We are very philanthropy, volunteer-based within a lot of our organizations that you'll find on campus. So really building your resume once again. We have so many clubs and organizations and our unique size that if you're involved, you're going to be involved in more than 2, 3, 4 clubs. And then by the time you're a sophomore or junior, you're going to hold some sort of leadership position. And those leadership positions prepare you for more opportunity on campus and once you graduate. We do require students to live on campus, so you are calling Radford home. And so no community style bathrooms or no students just shoved into a corner of a building. We give you your own space. We give you space to set your own routine. If you want to roll out of bed and go to class 10 minutes before it starts, you can do that. You'll find out that it's not usually the best bet. But if you want to get out, go to the gym. If you want to go to Starbucks and grab a coffee, get some reading on a bench before class, you can do that. You get to build your routine for success here at Radford, and we give you the space along with resources that we talked about to do that. We do have living learning communities on campus, so when you're signing up and you're filling out your housing application, you can choose to live amongst other like-minded students. So if there's someone who's interested and you're interested in education, we have our Schoolhouse living learning community where you live amongst other students in the education program. You get paired with a mentor and you actually get involved in the schools as a freshman. But usually you have to wait. And so we have additional living learning communities for biology, for business and entrepreneurship. We have our community of artists. So one great way to hit the ground running and really take full advantage of the opportunities that are available at Radford is just to get involved as much as you can before you even step on campus. We are very affordable here at Radford. Now we are out of state for students. I mentioned earlier that we do have a few programs that fall within the academic common market, so that's something that we can discuss further. However, we are a nice affordable institution at just over $33,000 for an entire year. That does include your full-time student status, fall and spring semesters, living on campus, and our most expensive meal plan. And so I always tell students, though, that that's where you start. There are a lot of initiatives in West Virginia to help bring down that price tag for students, just like we have initiatives here at our institution to help bring down that price tag. So if we work together, that number can drop significantly. Almost 80% of our students receive some sort of financial aid here at Radford University, so it's important to submit that FAFSA. It's been open for 13 days, so 13 days of your opportunity for possible free money has already passed if you haven't submitted it. So get on board with that. It's very important, especially when we're just trying to review and work with you to see where you financially fit in your college journey and see what we might need to work for on both ends. We do have a Highlander Distinction Program here at Radford University. So the Highlander Distinction Program is our scholarship program. You're automatically reviewed for it. There's no additional applications. When you submit your application for Radford, you're automatically reviewed for scholarships. And we review year round. So whenever you submit that application, we can review you for scholarships. So no deadlines. However, don't worry about deadlines, just be proactive and get as much as you can checked off now. So when the deadlines are coming up, you're making a decision. You're not waiting for an answer. Best colleges for your money. We definitely, like I said earlier, 32% first generation students. We have a lot of resources to help students navigate paying for college and understanding the loans and everything that goes in get you through your 4 years or less here at Radford. We are a free application. It's free to apply. We're online or we're on the Common App. So if you already have a Common App application, you can just add Radford right to that. It's free on both ends. And so free, the college kids and students have a saying, if it's free, it's for me, because they love free pizza, they love free tie-dyeing, they love everything that they bring that's free. So start gaining that mentality now. If it's free, it's for, well, not for me, it's for you. But this is a great way to not worry about any barriers with fees or anything like that. And it's mobile ready. So you don't have to have a laptop. You don't have to have a major computer to complete that online. You can just scroll through while you're chilling on the couch watching your favorite TV show. When you do apply to Radford University, to be considered complete, we'll need the application as well as your transcript. High school transcripts, contact your counselor. Sometimes you have the means to get those transcripts yourself. And so definitely get that in as soon as you get your application, and the sooner we can complete your file, the sooner we can read your file and get you a decision. Now, we do offer test optional applications prior to the pandemic, but with the pandemic, there were a lot of ACT and SAT testing dates that were canceled, moved indefinitely, etc. And so we are continuing our opportunity for students to apply test optional. In the past, it has required to be a 3.0 or higher, but we will review your application without test scores wherever you stand and work with your best fit opportunities. We do have some options at Radford for students that may want to bridge into Radford where they can live on campus, take community college courses, and bridge their into Radford, as well as a MASH assistance program for students that might need and want to come into college with additional resources. Middle 50% is on the screen, so you can definitely see what our big median number of GPA, SAT, and ACT scores for our students. We look at a cumulative GPA. We make sure all of our students are reviewed holistically and on the same scale. But that middle 50%, just remember there's students above and below that who are taking advantage of the opportunities and finding success here at Radford. You can see some quick ways to contact us. The radford.edu is where you'll find our application. So that is an important web address to remember. But I really, once again, you might not want to open the conversation right now. You might just want to sit back and watch for a minute. Check that out. Social media is the best for that. Scroll through and we can just throw you a little bit of Radford information here and there. And if you ever have a question, there's a direct message feature and someone sitting on the other end of that, most likely myself. So I recruit West Virginia and Southwest Virginia and anyone that chooses to click on our social media. But connect with us, start the conversation, or just start learning more about Radford. A nice additional video to show you all.
You're muted again.
I gotta get out of this muting. I gotta make me a little sign. So when you're welcome here at Radford University, think about ways to explore. We do have options for students to actually physically visit campus. We are limited, but you can find that through our website. Radford.edu/visit as a great place. We have a lot of additional programming, open houses to where you can dedicate your interests to a specific area where you can meet with faculty and current students. Digitally, of course, right now with those larger events, but we're hosting Major Mondays where we're talking about very exciting programs and giving you access to see what it's like to be a student. We'd love to host you on campus and let you sit in a classroom and experience it now, but we're doing our best to give you access to that. I think our Q&A has been pretty empty, but I know that we have a participant that has been tuning in. Participant, if you would like, you're welcome to ask any questions or any additional information about Radford University. We do, our application is open now. We're rolling admission, so we review and get those decisions out the door as quickly as possible. So the sooner you apply, the sooner you have access to your decision, and we can help navigate your decision here at Radford and compare and contrast and navigate the entire college search if you need that resource. So I have 6 minutes and I feel like I can probably talk about 6 minutes. I think it would be important to note that in Virginia, my sessions are limited to 6 minutes. So if you want me to give you the presentation we just did in 6 minutes, I'm not going to. You'd have to attend the Virginia session. I like to be winded. I like to talk about Radford. I like to have a conversation. I like to inform you about Radford, but I also want you to know about me. And so that's one thing that these sessions do not give us that access to, but that doesn't mean that the conversation and we can't move forward talking about Radford in many different ways. I've really enjoyed recruiting my territory for the last 5 years. So this is my sixth recruitment cycle. I like to think of it as in cycles. It's been pretty exciting that this year was the first year I saw students graduate that I recruited. And so it just fuels my fire to recruit even more students for Radford University now that I'm seeing them come full circle. From giving them their tour out here on Moffett Quad to now seeing them graduate and walk across Moffett Quad. So Radford really is a community, and it is a community that's dedicated to everyone inside and out. I found that dedication as a student, as well as an employee. And I'm just very excited that you are interested in Radford and taking in this information session, listening to my stories, my experiences, why I love Radford, and then also watching me try and tell you all about Radford while on mute. So we're all navigating the new norm, and I'm happy to help you navigate the college search process during this time. So I'm going to conclude my session and going to throw up my contact slide one more time. So if you have not already given a nice screenshot and to reach out later with any questions about Radford, this is your time. So thank you. If you have no questions, I'm more than happy to wish you a great evening.
All right, well, we're pretty close to the end here. If you have about a minute or two, if you have any questions for Charles, I'm just going to go ahead and pop on the screen for a second and do a little wrap up with you. But you can still feel free to drop a question in the Q&A box if you have any. Oops, let's go back. Hang on a second. Oh, the wonders of technology, right, everybody?
Well, I just upgraded to 2 monitors, and so I've been at home on just one screen throughout all of this. And when I return to the office, the 2 monitors,
Yeah.
screens pop up, and I don't even know where they're at. I have to find the monitor.
How funny. All right, so thank you guys for joining us this evening. Again, this was one of our virtual college exploration sessions sponsored by the West Virginia Association for Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers and StriveScan. When you close out the session, you will see a very quick 4-question survey appear. Please give us any feedback that you can regarding our sessions. You can also sign up for more sessions. Those will be going on over the next 3 weeks, and the full schedule is available at WVACRAO.org. And again, as I said at the beginning, the recording will be available in about 1 week's time, along with all of the other sessions that are being offered. And again, that is at WVACRAO.org. And we hope that you had a great time listening to the presentation from Radford. I know I did. So please feel free to sign up for as many sessions as you want, and we hope you have a great evening. All right, bye everyone.
So long. Good to see you, Megan.
It's good to see you. Bye.